And we're live. Hello everybody. How are you all doing? Hope you're all good. We're just getting things kicked off here. We're in LaGuardia today. A little bit of a bonus stream today. Don't usually stream on a Sunday, but I figured it'd be cool to A, fly on a Sunday because we don't usually fly, and also there's a little part of me that wonders if streaming at different times a day might be good for the channel. So kind of trying it out for that. Obviously sample size of 1 today, so I'm not really going to draw any crazy conclusions like either it worked or it didn't work just off the basis of today, but maybe it's maybe it can be some food for thought. I'm a little bit conscious that when I stream in the mornings, not the greatest time for a lot of people, so we'll see. We'll see. It's all about trying things and seeing what works and what doesn't. So today we're going from LaGuardia, which is where we are now. We're going to do a cold and dark start, get things going in a minute, and head on up to Boston. So not a very long flight, about an hour, a little bit more than an hour. Should be a cool takeoff. We're going to be heading. In fact, there's the runway there, runway 33. Just about making it up behind the plane. So we're going to be heading out in that direction. So heading along here, taking off, and then of course you got Manhattan just over there. We'll take off and then kind of come around on ourselves to join up with our flight plan. Start heading to the east, over this way, up towards Boston. So brilliant, the fuel truck's just arrived. Right, let's jump into the flight deck and we'll get things started. So what I've done so far just to get the plane powered, I've done batteries, I've done external power, but other than that I've not touched a thing. So we'll get our APU master turned on, wait 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, click start, there we go. And we shall wait for that to become available. Do our nav and logo light. Not entirely sure why this has appeared, but that's okay. Just looking at how much fuel we're going to need to get us over to Boston. Apparently the block fuel is 7,484 kilograms. There we go, that's become available, so we'll get the APU bleed on. Do our navs. Crew supply, oxygen. Now, before I do fuel pumps, we are going to fuel the plane. So we'll go over to the EFB over here. Let's get the flight plan from SimBrief. There we go, LGA to KBOS, good. Not too windy in Boston. What's that, 300 degrees and 7 knots, and we're going to be landing on runway 33, my mistake, 33. So 30 degree difference, only 7 knots. That's pretty good, I would say. Hey Longfeet, how you doing? You love the 737 and A320. Yeah, me too. Me too. I think, sort of speaking a bit selfishly, I like the A320 737 because you can do... It feels like you're flying a real proper plane, like a big jet, but you don't have to fly that far in them. I mean, I know it's a sim and you can do what you want, but it would feel a bit weird if we did this route in a 747, for example. So yeah, for that reason I think very much like A320, 737. Right, if I click this cloud icon here, it's gonna get the kilograms of fuel that we need. There you go, 4784. There we go, we're almost spot on anyway. Payload. Almost a full house today. Quite a bit of cargo on board as well. Should maybe put that to real time instead of it happening instantly. I don't know. Good. Pushback today. I've re-downloaded the pushback toolbar thing. Toolbar pushback. I was having issues with it, but I think it was possibly to do with going to Sim Update 12. It was never right since Sim Update 12, so I've got the latest version, so I'm hoping that's going to
Ladies and gentlemen, from
help
the
us out
flight
a little
deck,
bit.
on behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer, and cabin crew,
Right,
I'd
let's
like to
brighten
take
these
the time to
screens up
welcome you aboard our
because
flight.
I can barely
Just
see a
wrapping up
thing.
some paperwork up front here and waiting to see final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way.
Yeah, Mum. There we
Flight
go.
attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full
We'll do
undivided
this for good
attention as
measure,
they
why
review
not,
the
eh?
safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you aboard this flight. If there's anything we do to make
That's
your flight
looking
any
pretty
more
good.
enjoyable, please don't hesitate to
We'll
ask.
just brighten up the
Welcome aboard.
MCDUs. Or McDo, if you'd prefer. Lovely. Right, so now we can go up top. Let's get fuel pumps on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good, so we're running off the APU now, so we can lose the external power. Disarm the emergency lights. No smoke into auto. Now we've been fueled as well. We're going to be getting ready for pushback shortly. But we'll keep the seatbelt light off for now because we'll be a minute yet. We'll be a minute. Good. That's all looking fine. That's all looking fine indeed. What's local pressure here in LaGuardia? 1018. Oops. What are we on now? 1013. Let's change that. That's good. Flight directors are already on. Let's pull in the. Let's get this set up down here, then, shall we? So ATSU. AOC menu. Come on. There we go. Init/pres. And we'll do an init data request. That's going to phone home to SimBrief. There it is. It's actually quite a short flight. ETE. Estimated time en route 38 minutes. Do I have GSX? That's a very... it's funny you mention that. I meant to buy it this morning. And I thought I'll stream with it later. Turns out I went out for the day with the family. So... no, I have not got it yet, but I'm hoping to get it for the next stream. Okay, into the init screen. Init request. Boom, there we go. -38. And pull in our 0 fuel weights. Fuel planning. What's that -38? Yeah. Performance. Flex 2 temp, -38. Flaps 1 takeoff today. There we go. Right, what's our V1 speed going to be then? 130 it says there in the scratch pad. V1, VR 131, and 135. V2. Where did the pilot announcement come from? That's part of the plane. Part of the fly-by-wire plane. You can turn it off. They'll probably do like a safety announcement as well. But yeah, it's all part of the fly-by-wire A320neo. In fact, sometimes I find it a little bit annoying actually because it's like I'm trying to talk to you and all of a sudden it butts in and I'm like, oh no. Never mind. Right, predictive wind shear. Auto. Lock door. We'll just brighten up the numbers there in the window. So let's get our flight plan. So we're going direct to Merit, which is right. So let's just put in our departure runway, which is runway 31. So apparently we have no SID. We're just going direct according to SimBrief. That's okay. Direct to Merit. Let's pop the ND into plan. There we go. So Merit is actually quite a long way away. It's all the way up there. So what we'll do, we will clear this discontinuity. That should now, there we go, join the dots. And into Boston, arriving on the ILS 33 left. You didn't know that? Yeah, I mean, it surprised me the first time it did it. But wait, what's it doing? Right, what's our star? Into Boston. There it is. What does that mean? Oh, that feels like it should be like a word that I recognise. Rob UC3. Yeah, I don't know. No Vias. So we go Merit. Straight in. Is that a discontinuity I see there? Manual. Let's zoom in and just see what it's thinking we're going to do. Oh, that's okay. We'll just basically turn in there. It's like right next door. Right, let's delete the manual and delete the discontinuity. Okay, that's not how I would have drawn that line, but okay. That's okay, I guess. Right. So, we don't really have any constraints on the way up. We're going straight up to flight level 270, so we might as well just get that in the window. Might as well. If we press CSTR here, that will also put any constraints for us to see on the ND as well, so we don't have to keep checking down here for like any flight constraints. Hey Zen, hey Turtle, how you doing? Nice to see you in the chat. Okay, I'm going to pretend that I didn't see that. That looks like a bug. Is the CRJ 900/1000 worth it? I've got no idea. I've never flown it, to be honest with you. I'm very much an A320 737 kind of guy. However, we have just got the ATR. We flew that the other day, which is cool. A lot to learn. Not a crazy learning curve, but a learning curve. Nevertheless. Right, how are we doing? That's the flight plan sorted, so we're going to put the ND back into arc. It's looking good. That is looking good. Right, is everyone finished out here? Looks like it. Looks like it. Okay, so we're going to go services, get rid of the baggage, get rid of ground power, get rid of catering, and seeing as we're boarded, we might as well get rid of the jet bridge while we're at it. What's my favourite plane? Probably the one we're in, I think. Well, I say favourite. Yeah, okay, so there's a difference between favourite and one I'm most comfortable with. I feel the most comfortable in this plane. I feel like if I'm going to do a stream in this plane, that it'll be, you know, we can have like a nice chill out and just enjoy the flying. I feel like if I'm in the 737, I'm on my toes a little bit more. I've got to be on it an awful lot more than I am in this plane. But I do really like the way the 737 handles. I do have a soft spot for the A330. If I'm going to do long haul, quite like the A330. There we go, there's the cargo door shutting now. Wonderful. Good stuff. Alrighty. Dare I say it? Almost time for a pushback. We'll get our beacon light on. Get the passengers strapped in. Have I downloaded the A313? Oh yeah, the headwind one. Yeah. In fact, I just did an update on it before I went live. I realised I hadn't actually downloaded the most up-to-date build, so I went in and grabbed that. We should maybe do a stream in that next time. Okie dokie, everything's looking pretty good up here. That's good. That's good. Right, let's see if our pushback tool works, because I had some issues with it last time, but I have a funny feeling that was because Sim Update 12 broke it. So we'll see what happens. Okay. How do you zoom? Scroll and hold the control key to zoom the map in and out. I was! Honest, I was. Okay, we'll try and get ourselves pushed to about there. There we go. Okay, let's request pushback. Here comes Tug. I am looking forward to the Aerosoft A330. That's going to be cool. I need to get my livery made in the Headwind A330 as well. One of those jobs that I keep thinking, yeah, I'll do that, and then I never do. Okay, parking brakes released. See, the Tug is kind of lifting us up there by the front nose wheel. And we'll get ready to do engine start. So we'll get that into... do love the sound of these things starting up. Parking brake on. Set flaps to 1 while we're up here. There goes the other engine. They sound so good. There goes tug. Cool, that's looking good. It's all coming to life nicely. Waiting on these to settle. Let's brighten that top screen a little bit more. Okay, let's get auto brake max set just in case we need it. Hopefully we won't. Good. Have a quick look up top. So now our engines are started. They can be providing the power to the electrical systems on the plane. So we can lose the APU. Set strobes to on. Nose light to taxi. Seat belts are on, they're all strapped in, that's good. The engine selector back to normal. APU is available, but we no longer need it. So we're actually not got very far to taxi, we're just literally going to turn the corner here and line ourselves up. So parking brake off. A little bit of thrust just to get us moving. And we'll creep our way down. Not using any checklist today, I'm just kind of doing it by memory, and there's a not small part of me that feels like I'm forgetting something. So we'll see. We'll see. So this is going to be one of those flights where we reach our cruising altitude and then it won't be long and it's time to come down. There we go, so arm the spoilers while I think of it. I wish I could steer while taxiing and looking out the window. It's a skill I'm yet to master. Okay, there's our runway just there. let's join on here. Just going to hold short at the stop bar there. A couple of little bits just to take care of before we head out and line up. Alright, parking brake on. Let's take our nose light to take off, get our lights on. That's looking good. Turn our TCAS to on.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Takeoff config normal. Good. So parking brake off, and let's go and get ourselves lined up. Interested to see how the FPS holds up as we come over Manhattan. It's almost like a little mini benchmark, isn't it? I feel like it's moments like this, like when you're kind of taxiing around, lining up, a head tracker would be really helpful. Just so you can just look a tiny little bit, but then look back. Tempted to make a video making a really cheap head tracker with like a cheap webcam off of Amazon and some free software. See if we can build a head tracker for like $10 or £10 or whatever. That would be quite cool. Right. Everything I do believe is looking good. So with that being said, let's go to Boston. So let's bring the thrust up to 40%. Holding it on the brakes. And toga thrust. Keeping ourselves on that centre line with the rudder pedals. Not a huge amount of wind here today anyway, but looking for 130 knots. Rotate. Positive rate, gear up. There's Manhattan over there, killing our frames per second as we speak. Must remember to thank it for that. Alright, AP1 engaged. There we go. There it is. Okay, we now have our levers into climb. Disarm the spoilers. Flaps are up. And we're just going to abide by that 250 knot speed restriction. Everything's looking good. 40 miles to Merritt. $44 miles to Merritt, that's right. Then a Roebuck, I guess we'll call it. You need to be at 260 knots and 15,500 feet. I bet that's a range. Yeah, it is. So beneath 19, above 12. So we could go down to 12 if we wanted to get ahead of ourselves. So we're not on ATC today. We're just chilling out. It's Sunday after all. And what's that? 11. So above 11. At 11. 8, 6, 5. Is that 6, 5 a range? Yeah, it is. That's all good. Right, so we're coming up on 10,000 feet. Good. Right, lights off. What is transition today, I wonder? $18,000. Wow, okay. Oh no, that's on the way in. Fingers crossed for a smooth landing in Boston. Might be worth, seeing as it's going to sneak up on us, doing a little bit of descent planning. Let's have a look. So Roebuck. Where is Roebuck? There's Roebuck, right there. And that's where we could be at 12,000 feet, so we could potentially from 27,000 drop 15,000. How long are we going to have to do it? We've got 72 miles from Merritt, which we're almost at, and then Roebuck is there, so 72 miles on. So, using this calculator, hey David, how's it going? Hey JD, nice to see you. How have you been? You okay? Alright, 2,000 feet per minute. Going from 27 to 12, dropping 15,000 feet. 48 miles required. And as luck would have it, we've got a straight line from Merritt to Roebuck. Which means we can use the progress page, because that is always as the crow flies, which I find a little bit... looks like a bit of an oversight, really. I mean, they're both the same, so, okay. Right, 87 miles to Roebuck. and we need about 50 to get us down to 12,000 feet. So 30 miles. Oh, did not do standard pressure. Silly boy. There we go. I was thinking, JD, we might have to do some flights in and out of Newcastle in the ATR soon. Have you tried the ATR? It's a very cool plane. I'm liking it a lot. Not too tricky. There's just some key differences that you really need to understand with the ATR. It's very Airbusy, owing to the fact that ATR is a joint Airbus and Italian kind of venture. So there's a lot of Airbus isms in the plane, put it that way. But the one thing that caught me out was the fact it does not have an APU, which makes it, I was kind of like, well then how does it, without an APU, how do you even, you know, do the things? Completely different system. Hey Brian. Right, that's us at Merit if we're making that turn. Yes, it is. Good. So how many miles are we at? We need 53 miles to do our descent. So we're 20 miles from top of descent. That's good. How's the PC holding up, Brian? Is it behaving? I'm perilously close to ordering a new GPU myself, so I had to lower my settings today for this stream, just owing to the fact we were flying out of New York. I was like, I can't go into New York with my settings and stream, because the streaming obviously puts a load on the GPU as well, with OBS being open, stuff like that. But yeah, having a great time with the ATR so far. The lack of APU threw me off, as I said, but I thought it was quite a cool idea that they use engine 2 almost as a generator. So you sort of run the engine, keep the prop brake on, then you can use that to power the plane. Cool idea, that.
Just reached a cruising altitude for the flight, and I begin to settle in. I do want to remind you to please keep your seat belts clear from the aisle as the flight attendants will be coming through the cabin.
Going well except Phoenix.
Also, one more reminder to please refrain from congregating with the front galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you.
$54 miles required, and we are at 58 miles. It's almost perfect. Right, let's get 12,000 in the window then, shall we? And we'll do that at 2,000 feet per minute. How do you rate the Phoenix, Brian, compared to this? Because I don't have the Phoenix. There we go, starting to descend, that's nice. Enter destination data, go on then.
Welcome to flight deck, ladies and gentlemen. As you may have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now
So 1014, 307.
If you are up, once you return to your
Looking
seat,
good.
we ask that you remain seated until the
1014,
aircraft arrives safely on gate.
300/7.
Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
What was the temperature? Was it 20? 23. It's a bit of a cheat. I don't know quite what it is. I'm just going to put 200 in radio. There we go. Great shot, there you are. Yeah, I'm not sure about the Phoenix myself. I keep getting comments, people saying to buy it. I think where I struggle is that this is free and it's really good. And I'm not even sure what the Phoenix costs. What would it be, about £50? Is that right? That's not an insignificant amount of money. I mean, I don't really have £50 just to throw around at planes just to see if I like them. It's like, I need to know they're going to be used and be good and... I will say though, the sounds on it, I love the sounds. I think that's where this one is a bit lacking. Just a little bit lacking, this one with the sounds. I always notice when I jump in the PMDG 737, it's like, wow, this sounds really good. What is this? Not so much. You can't have it all. And again, it's free, so it's kind of like, well... Today it wanted to just go in reverse. That doesn't sound right. So what does the external app do exactly? Is that like PMDG's operations center, or is it something different? Right, how are we looking up front here? Coming up on dropping nearly 10,000 feet. We're coming up on transition as well, actually, so it's good timing to jump back into the cockpit. There it goes. Was it 1014, wasn't it? Yeah, so not far away now. Not far. Okay, what is the plan after this then? So we're going above 11,250 knots by Jaina. Okay, so above 11 at Provi. Then at 11 for Jaina. We do also need to slow ourselves just a touch. I did not consider that. How far have we got to go? 15 miles. We're never going to slow and descend at the same time. But we are within range. We're now coming up on... Yeah, okay, I'm going to let us level out at 12,000 and the speed should take care of itself, and that should all happen within the next few moments. Alright, 30 seconds and we should be at 12,000 feet. If we're at 2,000 feet per minute, then we can level and drop off that speed, hopefully right in time. Juice isn't worth the squeeze on the Phoenix right now. Okay. I mean, it's kind of good news for me. I can just save the money. I think my gut feeling when it first came out was that looks really cool and it's great and it's good for the flight sim community. It's all good, but it's like I can't bring myself to spend that level of money when this exists. If there was like a fly-by-wire 737, I would probably feel the same way about PMDG, but they're the only shop in town really for a study level 737. And I do believe it is worth the money. It's a fantastic product. I've gotten the $70 worth of value out of that plane, no question. And I'm sure I would do if I bought the Phoenix, but then I also get loads of value out of this, so it's tricky. Once I'm a big time YouTuber, bringing in the big money, then maybe I'll get it. And I'll just do it without thinking. Like, yeah, sure, whatever, just spend the money. Once we're rich and famous, eh? Alright. Have a nice little gentle descent now to 11,000. Got to be above 11 at this waypoint, which we are, so that's good. That's fine. We need to be at 11 by Jaina. I'm surprised there hasn't been, unless I've completely missed it somewhere, like a Gulf Stream kind of thing. Like a G500 or G550. Because they're quite popular planes. Stop doing it. Brian, do you use a head tracker with your system? Alright. Speed at 250. Then we go to 8,240. Is it fair to say that Gulfstreams are kind of like the, almost like the default private jet? Right, 8,000 feet. We also need to be at 240 knots. Then we can go down to 7, or as low as 6 if we want. We'll go with 6. I like to stay ahead of the aircraft really, it kind of buys you time. Can't use on a curved screen. Oh, okay. I was thinking of giving it a go. Giving a head tracker a go. Maybe seeing if I can get like a cheapo webcam off of like Amazon that I can clip to the top of my monitor. See what's possible on a budget. Maybe make a video out of it. Might be interesting to others perhaps. Okay. Why has my speed gone back into manual? I did not ask it to do that. If the speed breaks out, that's annoying. So we're now going to have to lose that energy that, or re-lose the energy we've already lost. What did I do to make it do that, I wonder? It probably was my fault. It usually is. Corporation, yes, but Cessna more private. Okay. Alright, let's get 6 in the window. We need 220 knots. It's holding us at 8, so I've got it into managed descent mode until we pass Ainsley, I guess. There it goes. Happy days. Let's go flaps 1 out. Latest Gulfstream's 40 million. Wow. That's a serious chunk of change, isn't it, that? I guess they've got the range there, haven't they? They've got the range to go more or less anywhere you want. So how would you distinguish between corporate and private? A private as in just like a single owner that wants to fly themselves or be flown? And corporate is just like, I guess, almost like a company car. You have a company jet where you can stick a few people on it at once for a trip somewhere. Well, the minimap seems to be completely wrong despite it using the same flight plan that we've used. Where is that airport? I don't think this is it, despite the fact that does look like an airport. I think we are... it's more up here, isn't it? Alright, 6,210, the next waypoint. We go above 4... decel at that point, that's fine. Oh yeah. Yeah, I forget Alan Sugar. Yeah, he flies himself, doesn't he? Like I say, that's like the only thing I think that I look at being super rich and think, yeah, that'd be good. Most other things, being super rich, I'm a bit like, yeah, I'm good as I am. Don't want for much, really. Alright, 210 knots. That's all good. But yeah, to have your own plane and be able to fly it yourself, that's like a superpower, isn't it? Right. As lovely as this view is, I need to get us down to 4,000 feet. Speed brakes may be required. We are coming up on decel, of course. How far out are we? 20 miles out. Okay. Found that the new computer is like a heater. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you've got a 4090 in there going for it, Brian, that is going to heat the room up quickly. I mean, like, in my shed where I am now, the shed's only 2 by 2 meters. It's very well insulated, has no windows. And yeah, the just the 3070 that I have very much heats the room. Okay, let's go into... oh, it's already done it. Nice. So we're going to go decel now, down to 3,000. Get approach mode on to get started. Yeah, I don't doubt that, Brian. I mean, that's, was it a 450 watt card if it's all going full tilt? I mean, my 3070 is around the 200 mark, and like I said, that's within an hour. It's getting hot. I mean, I've been streaming for what now? An hour, exactly an hour. It's 22.5 degrees in here. It was more like 13 when I came in. Move a wall. Well, I did bore holes in the wall. I've kind of got these extraction fans that one takes out the hot air. I've got a duct that kind of sits above the PC to draw out the hot air, then goes into a pipe and gets sucked out of the room. And I've got another one that brings in fresh air from the outside. But of course, if it's hot like it is today, you end up in the situation where you're bringing in hot air. So it just kind of makes it worse. I'm going to have to look at an AC unit, I think. Right, let's kill the music. So it's about to get serious. Didn't do the lights, did I? Too busy talking. Alright, we'll do auto brake medium, I think, for this one. If it were wet, we might do auto brake low and rely a little bit more on the reversers. That's okay. Other than that, I'd say we're looking pretty good. Runway's just up ahead there. Yeah, summertime must be tough in yeah, blimey. It's gotta be tough.
2,500.
Get out.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
Three greens, that's good. Laps full. Speed brakes armed. .33 at the moment, wow. That's some heat, isn't it, that? That is some heat. Okay, so we've got a 2 knot wind coming at about 267 and 2, which is basically nothing. Right, let's get that autopilot off and see if I can hold it steady. Teeny tiny movements. Looks like we need to go slightly to the right, but not by much. We're at the risk of going low. That terrain down there feels very tiley, doesn't it? You keep seeing those lines appearing, almost like where the terrain tiles. Which isn't the greatest, but... Okay, we're a bit on the low side.
$500.
Ooh, what happened there? Nice little stutter from the sim.
$400. $300. $200.
Come on.
$100. $50. $40. $30. $20. $10. $5.
There we go. Why is there a load of stop bars there on the runway? Manual braking. Don't think we're going to make that turn off, are we? Never mind. Let's go for this one. That wasn't bad. Quite happy with that. 287 feet per minute, apparently. .284, in fact, reading it again. Alright, APU on. 1, 2, 3. Lights off. Taxi lights on. I know there's no traffic, but it's good manners to check. Not sure if it's going to be a stream tomorrow, because it's a bank holiday here in the UK, so it may be we seize the opportunity and go out for the day. So I can't make any promises. Kind of why I wanted to get live today, really. I feel like the last week has not been great for my schedule. Life has gotten in the way many times this past week, which I'm not particularly pleased about, but family first, as they say. You thought it'd be less than that? Yeah, I've got to be honest, Brian. I'm not entirely sure. I always trust that figure that Sim Toolkit Pro chucks out. Like, there's some landings where I was like, that was awful. Like, that felt hard and bad in every possible way. And then it comes out at like 190 feet per minute. It's like that. No, that doesn't feel right. Doesn't pass the sniff test. Right, where should we go? Not entirely sure how I should best go into these gates, really. Let's go into this one. Voila! Welcome to Boston. I would try and do a Boston accent, but it's probably best for everyone that I don't do that. Alrighty. Parking brake on. Let's bring the flaps up. engine's off. Hey, look at that, the pole is like massively in favour of the A320. Massively in favour. Right. Does anybody want to go back? I've got the time, we can go back. I say we do it. Let's go back. Right, let's make a flight plan really quick. Let's get back to JFK, in fact. Let's do that. That sounds like fun. Don't apologise, Brian. Nice to see you as always. You enjoy that PC of yours. As I always say, I am not at all jealous. You have a good day. Yeah, see you later, Brian. Take it easy. Right. That's the flight plan made, so we should be able to now go and pull it in from Simbrief, KBOS to KJFK, that's good. Ooh, a little bit of wind at JFK. Okay, baggage, catering, ground power. How much fuel do we need? Okay, that's good. Get the payload. There we go. Happy days. Right, how are we looking up here? Fuel pump's obviously still on, as is the navs. Nav logo. Dude, beacon light off for now. Strobe. Off. Seatbelt signs off because we're refueling the plane. APU bleed on. Okay, let's do some programming of this down here then. So MCDU menu, ATSU, AOC, init pres, init data request. 42 minutes in the air, that's good. Init data request for that one. -29. Fuel planning. Done. Flaps one for takeoff. $129 V1, $130 VR, $134 V2. Good. Now, K-Boss. We're going to use socks. Runway 27. Is. We're going to use socks S6. That'll be the Boston Red Sox, right? I would assume, anyway. And then we're going to go into JFK. Runway 22 left. And we're going to use Parch 3. Just going to check on a chart a moment. Not sure which via to select. I think probably DPK for Deer Park. Let's see what that looks like, because I may have just made a mess of that. Okay, coming out of Boston. It's 22,000 feet at Sox, then we go clear that, go to Buzzard. Then there's Parch, down to Rover. Yeah, that's looking... Let's zoom in a minute, just make sure that's not being weird, because it might be. Okay, cap it, then manual. Okay, let's lose DPK then, that's probably a mistake to do that. As was Rosley. We want to go straight to, from cap it, kill the manual, clear the discontinuity. That gives us about a 7 mile, almost, yeah, 5 mile final once we've done this turn. That should be okay. Slightly slightly dubious that at 9 miles out it wants us at 22,000 feet. So I think we're going to have to manage our own descent planning there. Because that's just not right, is it? At all. Right, services. Let's get rid of baggage, ground power, catering, and the jet bridge. Good. So pushback planning is, the plan is to get our tail back over here, I think. See if we can pre-plan it. I'm hoping that we can. Good. So what's our flight level today? 220, quite low. Got the APU bleed on. Beacon on. Parking brake off. Get the engines into start.
Once again, we'd like to welcome you on board. Your safety is our top priority, so we appreciate a few minutes of your attention while we demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft. You can follow along with the safety information card in your seat back pocket. To fasten your seatbelt, insert the flat metal edge into the buckle and pull on the strap to tighten. To release, just lift the top flap of the buckle. Please keep your seatbelt fastened low and tight across your lap, even when the seatbelt sign is off, and have it visible to the crew at all times. Your life vest is in a pouch under your seat. If instructed by the crew, tear open the pouch, remove the vest, and pull it over your head. Wrap the strap around your waist, secure the buckle, and pull the strap tight. As you exit the aircraft, replace the vest by pulling down firmly on the red tab, while blowing into the tubes on both sides. A locator light on the shoulder will turn on automatically in motor, and remember, never place your vest inside the aircraft. This Airbus A320 is 8 emergency exits, 2 doors in the front, 4 window exits over the wings, and 2 doors in the back. Each door is equipped with an evacuation slide that can be detached from the aircraft and used as a ramp. All exits are clearly marked with a sign overhead. If necessary, floor level lighting will illuminate the top behind the exit. Please take a moment now to locate your closest exit and remember it may be behind you. If there is a change in cabin pressure, 4 oxygen masks will drop from overhead. Firmly pull the mask towards you to start to flow of oxygen. Place the mask over your nose and mouth, pull the elastic bands around your head, and tighten the straps on both sides. Even though the bags are not inflated, oxygen will be flowing. Be sure to put your mask on first before helping others, and we'll let you know when it's no longer needed. We'll be passing through the cabin to make sure we are ready for departure. You can help us by making sure your seatbelt is fastened. Your seat back is upright, your tray table is stowed, and all carrying items are put away. If you have any questions about the safety features of this aircraft, please don't hesitate to ask. Smoking, including these electronic cigarettes, is never allowed on any flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying smoke detectors and access restrooms is a federal offense and could result in a fine.
Good. Right, auto brakes max. Let's get ourselves ready to taxi. I already was. Okay. How are we looking down here? It's all coming up nicely. That's good. Good, 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 good. Check local pressure is still 1014. It may have changed. Yeah, it's the same. It's all good. Right, we need to find this runway 27. Not entirely sure. Not entirely sure where it is. So we're going to get engines back into normal. We no longer need APU bleed on because our engines are started, and we can turn off the APU master because the engines are providing the power for the plane. Taxi lights are on. Brakes are armed, flaps set to 1. Alright, park and brake off. Let's try and find this runway, shall we? But apparently it is straight ahead. And to the right. Feeling a little bit on the lost side here. Need a chart, just a moment. Trying to find the runway we landed on. So we landed on runway 31, and then we came off. So we're going to want to go on to taxiway Charlie, then Delta. What's that ahead of us there? So I think we follow the terminal round. That was a bit much. Right, so we're going to want the next one, I think. I think this next one will be Charlie. We can take that and then pick up Delta, I'm hoping. If I'm reading the chart right, we'll soon find out. Yeah, there it is, it's Charlie. Charlie then merges into Delta, which then takes us down to runway 27. Yeah, that's looking good. This is feeling like it's right. I suppose I could fly this with my yoke, couldn't I? I always feel like if I'm flying the A320, it should be joystick. So across the next runway, which should be where we merge into Delta. So we're now going to go around to the left because Delta's merging in on us from the right here. There we go, so this is us around here to the left. I mean, recross 3-3 and 1-5. Yes, we are. Brilliant. Hey, Matthew. How are you doing? Long time no speak. My fault, really. I've been a bit slack on the evening streams. With a bit of luck, this should be us. Runway 27 here on our right. We will get on at Delta 2, I think. Give us as much runway as we can have. Oh, nice, yeah, me too. So we've already come from LaGuardia already today. We kind of made the executive decision at the gate that we'd go back, albeit the JFK this time, not LaGuardia. Hopefully the FPS doesn't take a massive hit as we come in on final. It may do, so we will see. If it does, that'll be like the final little prod I need to get a new GPU. Already. Let's just hold it here for a second. I've also got my landing system on for when we landed. Right. Takeoff lights. We're going to do auto brake max. Spoilers are on. Flap set to 1. Let's do our takeoff config and see if I've forgotten anything. Takeoff config normal. Good. Goody goody goody. Should be quite a short flight. I think it said only like 40 minutes in the air, which is quite nice in a way. Just about amount of time. Okay. Let's go and line up. Oh, thanks, Matthew. Yeah, it's crazy. We've got monetized now as well. Couldn't believe it. you'd said to me this time last year, this is where we'd be in a year's time, I wouldn't have believed you. I think we're about like 200 or 300 subs this time last year. Just wouldn't have believed you at all. Here we go then. Seatbelts on, ready to go. Let's bring the thrust up to 40%. Just hold it. Wait for the engines to meet us. And release the brakes. Toga thrust. And it's time to rotate. Up and away. There we go. Positive rate, gear up. Let's get that autopilot on. So we can look out the window. There's Boston down there. Yeah, it's nuts, Matthew, the sub count, to think about it. The more I think about it, the more it weirds me out, so... Very strange. Oh, I didn't do TCAS. I knew I forgot something. Not that it matters for us today, but yeah, still good practice. I think the next step, Matthew, is maybe looking at VATSIM. I think that's the next obvious thing for me to do. I feel like I've shied away from it, mostly out of fear. But I'm convinced it will bring another element to the streams and to the channel. Alright, 10,000 feet coming up. Which is good, so we can push past the 250 knot speed limit. And we can also get those lights off. Transition altitude today, I believe, is 18,000 feet. Cool. I'm surprised that so many people like the A320 on the poll. I honestly thought the 737 would get it. Alright, set the passengers out. And disarm those ground spoilers. So we're going to cruise at 22,000 feet. And weirdly, I haven't got any constraints on this flight plan. Except for we need to be at 22,000 feet 9 miles before the runway, which is obviously complete and utter nonsense. So what we'll do, we'll kind of roll our own show today. We'll work it out. 22,000 feet is where we're cruising, so 22 times 3 is 66, add 10 to give us time to slow down as well, 76, so 76 miles, call it 80. So when our distance here gets to 80 miles, we'll just start descending at 2,000 feet per minute. And we should, fingers crossed, time it perfectly, he says. Okay, so we're coming up onto SOX here, which represents the end of our SID out of Boston. We're very nearly at cruise, another 2,000 feet to go. Always completely struck by how vast America is. It's just absolutely huge, isn't it? Like you sometimes hear about, it's like a really small percentage of Americans actually have passports relative to the rest of the world, and how many percentage of Brits have a passport. But you can kind of see why they don't. Because you've got so much all wrapped up in one country. It's amazing, really. Not entirely sure how the stats at the top there have worked that out. That seems very, very wrong indeed. I think we're 5 minutes away from landing.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once again from the flight deck, your captain speaking. We've just reached our cruising altitude for the flight. As it begins to settle in, I do want to remind you to please keep your seat elbows clear from the aisle, as the flight attendants will be coming through the cabin with galley cards shortly. Also, one more reminder to please refrain from congregating near the front galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you.
So what's the wind situation in JFK? So we've got a minute before we need to do anything. 220 and 9. Hey, look at that, we're landing on runway 22, so basically no crosswind. Nice. I'll take that. Whoops. So 154 miles to go, and we are going to start descending about 80 miles out. That's the plan. So we'll enter our destination data while it's asking for it. So we are 1017 local pressure, so we'll go to the perf page, next, and next. There we go. What was it? 220 and 9 for the wind. It was 1017, I think. Was it 1017? Yes, it was. 21 degrees. Nice day there today. And a 131 Fiat. What is that? Is that Long Island? Is that the tip of Long Island I can just see there? Oh, hey Harry. Long time no speak, how are you? You know, streaming at this time of day, seeing a lot of names I haven't seen in a while, makes me think I should definitely get the evening streams up and going again. I've kind of put them on pause to make videos, but I'm going to need to find a way to bring at least one a week back, I think. How's the war zone going, Harry? Are you winning? I must admit, I haven't played in a while. I sort of got a bit grumpy at it the other night. Yeah, I'm all good, thank you, Harry. MRI scan? I've never had one of those. Is that like the big machine, like the big circular thing that you go inside? Is that an MRI scan? You need a new controller. I wish I could play COD on controller. I really do. Right, how far away are we now? 122. 40 miles. And then we descend. Not long. There's a nice bit of coastline there. What's that little down there? See it on the this map here, I wonder. That's got to be it, right? Charlestown F. Grass runways. Yeah, Harry, the last time I played, I did a solos and I was really pleased with myself. I was sort of like up by 5 kills, doing quite well. And then it dawned on me that all the people that I had gotten into a gunfight with, I saw them before they saw me. Therefore, I won the gunfight. Then, of course, the one time someone sees me before I see them, I lose the gunfight. It's like there's no opportunity for to have a proper scrap, you know? And I think that's a bit of a shame. That is a shame. Yeah, there's Long Island. .106. Not far. Right, how are we looking? 95 miles, alright, so we need to be paying attention now. So we go for 22,000. Times that by 3, 66, add 10, 76. So, under 20 miles away now. Hoping the wind doesn't change as we come into JFK. at the moment, it's all looking good. We're landing on runway 22, and the wind direction is 220, and it's 9 knots. So that does mean we're going to have a tailwind. Of about 10 knots. We might just need to keep an eye on that flare as we come into land. It'd be quite easy to smash this one down onto the ground. It's obviously a very small tailwind, but you need to consider it, because obviously that's 10 knots less, really, that's kind of going over the wings, giving you lift. Because we rely on the wind going over the front of the wings, not over the backs. Oh, you collect cards, that's cool. I must admit, I do feel quite grumpy at the game at the moment. Just a bit like, starting to feel like, yeah, ripping us off a little bit. Right, 3,000, we'll go down to 3,000. 3,000 in the window. 2,000 feet per minute. I think they just need to increase the TTK a bit, Harry. I think it's way too slow. It's so slow that there's just no opportunity to have a proper scrap with an opponent. It's just who saw who first, and then in about 0.8 of a second it's all over. That's a shame, in my opinion. Here we go, 2,000 feet per minute, let's go.
From the flight deck, ladies and gentlemen, as you may have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now would be a good time to wrap up any business you need to take care of as we prepare for approach. If you are up, once you return to your seat, we ask that you remain seated till the aircraft arrives safely at the gate. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
I did have hot dogs for tea. Funny you say that, Harry. I'm fairly certain I can smell someone cooking sausages on a barbecue as I sit here now. It's wafting in from somewhere. I mean, it's quite good weather today, so like, it doesn't take much for the Brits to fire up the barbecue, does it? It's quite a cool airport. Where's that? Is it not on there? KFOK. Yeah, I think like 14 degrees and sunny, and that's barbecue weather as far as we're concerned. Don't ask me what that is in Fahrenheit. I couldn't tell you. Okay. 1017, wasn't it? Local pressure into JFK? Yes, it was. Oh, you got an ad. Nice. Good for me, I guess. Yeah, we're monetized now, Harry. Bringing in the big bucks. And by big bucks, I mean not big bucks. So, we head in this direction for another 12 miles. And then we follow the south coast of Long Island. Then we come in on final. I don't know why it's doing that. I mean, surely it can just go whoop. I don't know. Yeah, that's not going to work out, is it, if it does do that? Maybe we'll take manual control just before cap it. Alright, we are going to need to get to 250 knots as well, because we're coming up on 10,000 feet. Oh, the coronation yesterday. Yeah, I saw bits of it. Yeah, I saw like the main bit where they put the crown on and they came through the mall and the carriage and all that stuff. Yeah, they put on quite a good show. I think it's fair to say. Okay, let's get some landing lights on. Seatbelts on. A little bit over speed, that's a shame. Didn't quite manage that correctly. But we can make it up though. Okay, we'll do auto brake medium. Good, we're now at 250. Then we can increase our rate of descent. Yeah, we sort of had it on the TV in the background, but like with two small kids running around the house, they weren't. It was hard to keep their attention on it, really. Okay, we're going to activate approach mode very, very shortly. The landing system on. Not that we're quite ready, but let's get that speed down as well while we're able to. Down to 220. JFK is just over there. Not far now. We've got decel in 5 miles. There we go, coming up on 2,500.
2,500.
There we have it. Perhaps a bit lower than we would be in real life, but okay, there's decel. Excuse me. Hiccuped while trying to talk then. Activate. Confirm. See if we can lose that speed. Should have plenty of time. That speed brake up as well. Our turn coming up any moment. Looks like the plane has figured out we can do a nice easy turn. It had us sort of doing almost like a teardrop and then back on ourselves, but it sometimes does that when you're at range quite far out. I don't know why. Okay, so about 4 miles to the turn, and then we're on final. Yeah.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
Alright, gear down, flaps full, speed brakes armed, landing lights on. Auto brake medium. I haven't done a go around in ages. Yeah, I feel like we're overdue for one. I really do. You never know, today could be your day, Harry. I think a lot of it is that if we do a longer flight in the mornings, like I have to go at like a certain time, so it's like we almost don't have the luxury of a go around. If it's a rubbish landing, it's a rubbish landing, and I just have to live with that. Here we go. Thank you, Harry. Clear to land. I think VATSIM's our next stop. We need to get on VATSIM, really, don't we? Go. Where's that runway then? There it is. Get approach mode on. Get the party started with approach mode, and then we'll take over. Okay, so the wind is not as advertised. It's interesting. It's now showing 285 rather than the 220 it advertised to us. Hey Charles, welcome on in. You have arrived just in time. We're about to land. Check with the cabin, did I? Did it even click? Yeah, it did. There we go. Right. Crank the volume up a bit so you can hear the engines and all of that stuff. Right, come on then, don't mess it up. You got people watching. You've paid good money to see this. Actually, no, they haven't. So 3-knot wind at 270, so a little bit coming in at us from the right, but I mean 2 to 3 knots is like, that's basically nothing. We don't need to worry ourselves too much about that. My only concern is that it's not what was advertised, therefore it might just randomly reload on us last minute. Would not be the first time the sim has done that to us. I think the worst one was when we were coming into Gatwick. I was expecting a crosswind from the
1,000
left at like 30 knots, and then we get there and it's 30 knots from the right. I was like, okay, that's weird. And then, lo and behold, it just completely reloads on us last minute, so you have to then, like, re-crab yourself. Completely the other direction. That was not one of our finest. I don't mind telling you. Okay, very, very small movements. So easy to overcook this. Get carried away, start trying to chase.
500.
Chase those ILS markers. Picture's looking good, that's the main thing.
400.
Perhaps a little bit on the low side. Happies aren't too happy with us. Okay, the ILS markers are now just gone.
300.
Where are my ILS markers gone?
200. Minimum.
Land. $100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5. Why are there no markers? What's going on with this place? The ILS markers disappear off my flight display. And there's no touchdown markers on the runway. How weird. 250 feet a minute, I'll take that. I'll take that. Right, let's get off of here. That's not bad. I'll take that. Slightly annoying that the ILS markers just vanished. Don't know why that was. Right, let's get the APU firing up as we taxi ourselves. Oh, the yoke cam. Yeah, sorry, Harry, I totally forgot about that today. Next time? Remind me next time. I'm really bad at remembering. Nick usually reminds me. Nick's good for that. I think it's the wrong time of day for Nick to be here. Am I using the development or the experimental version? So I was using experimental up until like 2 days ago. Then I was making a video about the A320neo, about how to do like a cold and dark start, which is now on the channel. And I thought I should probably use the stable version because that's what most people are probably going to use. And I haven't yet switched it back to experimental. It seems okay though, like the experimental one, it seems completely like stable, works well. Oh, these frames don't feel good. I wonder what my frames per second is if I can get the counter up. Debug. Oh, it's holding. It is holding, just. I'm surprised, I wasn't sure it's gonna... Right, where can we park this thing? So I'm not gonna lie, I can smell someone having a barbecue and now I'm getting really hungry. Starting to feel a little bit lost. Right, let's go up here. Good landing. Yeah, cheers, Harry. Yeah, not dissatisfied with either that one or the one we did in Boston. Like, neither of them were completely on the touchdown zone markers, but I think I seldom manage that. Both are in the 200 feet per minute range, which is nice. But yeah, good day out was had by all. A good time was had by all. Right, where should we park? Let's go. There's some jetways up there to the left. Let's see if we can find our way to those. Autopilot disconnects. Check your flight plans. You're not going into like a manual bit, or have you flown through a discontinuity? It's odd why it would just disconnect like that. you haven't got any sort of controls mapped, maybe. Like, I know if I use my controller to move the camera around, sometimes it will try and steer the plane, which of course if you then try and steer the plane's like, oh, he wants to steer it, so it will take it out of autopilot. Hey, no worries, Matthew. Nice to see you again. I must stream more in the evenings. I feel like we almost had a little group of us that would quite often turn up in the evenings, and the last few weeks I've just been really bad at having the time to stream in the evenings. I must get back on that. Because obviously streaming in the mornings, that entire group of people probably can't make that. So the morning and the evenings really is what I need to be doing. Making sure I'm hitting both camps. There we go. Parking brake on. AP is available. I always laugh at the nose cones on those airplanes. They look like darts. And engine's off. That's really weird. That is really weird. Just check your control mappings that you haven't got anything that maybe you're pressing inadvertently, like if you've got a key on the keyboard or something on the mouse assigned that tries to steer the plane, or something that would kick it out of autopilot. Maybe that's what it is. I guess your joystick's okay. That's not giving like spurious input into the system. That'd maybe be what I would check. That's very, very strange. That is. Be a problem, don't, but good idea. Oh, you mean the evening streams, Harry? Yeah. Yeah, I need to do that. I mean, we built up a nice little crew of us in the evening. Similarly, we've got a nice little crew in the morning. I feel like the evening ones have suffered a little bit lately, which I feel bad about. I do feel bad about that. And I do enjoy the flying as well. But if I want to make videos as well, like longer form content, like content that isn't just flying around, something's got to give. Oh, I don't know. It's so hard. Anyway. I'm going to leave it there. I really need to go and check out where this barbecue smell's coming from and see if I can in some way replicate it here myself. So with that, I'm going to say thank you very much indeed. Have a good evening, and thank you very much for joining me. Take care.